Well, dharana means more than just concentration. It means that you're able to concentrate on the higher realities that present themselves to you. For example, you may have seen the light long before you attain the stage of dharana. But when you're in the stage of dharana, when your mind has been internalized and the energy has been internalized, and then you see the light, you're able to be completely focused on it. Proper concentration isn't possible so long as you even have the thought, I am concentrating. Because there's a separation between you and what you're concentrating on. There's an interruption in that flow. Real concentration means to be completely focused there so that that is your whole reality. When you concentrate wholly on something, you become that. And so the next stage of meditation means to be so concentrated that in dhyana, in meditation, you begin to see that you are that light that you're concentrating on. And then, as you meditate even more deeply, you realize that not only are you this light, but everything is this light. That is the state of samadhi. That saint that I told you about, the man who watched him and saw this blazing light in the cottage that he was meditating in, I told the story yesterday. He reached a point in his meditation where he couldn't quite make it out. He didn't have the teaching to understand it, and yet his experience told him that he was the same thing as the light that he was meditating on. And he went to different people, and they all said, well, no, that's not possible. He went to a great saint in India called Ramana Maharshi, and he asked him this question. He said, is it possible that the light that you concentrate on and you yourself are actually the same thing? And the saint asked one or two people. He asked a well-known pundit who was very scholarly and very well learned, but didn't have experience. And the scholar said, well, no, the very act of seeing something obviously implies a separation between the person seeing it and the thing seen. And then Ramana Maharshi said, no, that's not so. There comes a point where the two become one. And when he gave that answer, then this yogi became a disciple of Ramana Maharshi, because he found that he knew and could explain the state that he was experiencing already. So it is that as you concentrate on that light, you, as Jesus said, if thine eye be single, one-pointed, and thine eye means the spiritual eye. It doesn't mean translations of the scriptures now say if your eyes are healthy or different things like this, but he had a real meaning when he said single. Then your whole body becomes filled with that light. You see that you are that light. And then the next stage from that is to realize that that light is also outside you. And you break the barrier of ego between the two because you see that there really is no difference between them. And then you enter into the state of samadhi, which has two stages. The first, you merge in that, but you can only do it while meditating. The later and higher stage, you realize that your ego is a part of that, and you're able to keep that state of the consciousness of divine union even while acting. The first state is sabhikalpa samadhi, the second is nirvikalpa samadhi, and liberation means to attain nirvikalpa samadhi, where even while acting you realize that you don't act from ego, but from that consciousness of the divine within you. Now this can be applied to every level of human life. It's not as if just by entering the light or entering each of these stages completely, you are able to practice it. You can practice it all the time. You can practice samadhi, for example, by feeling, even now, the reality of other people's consciousness as a part of your own, by having sympathy for others, by feeling the life in the world around you, by feeling that the breeze is your breath, and that the movement of the leaves on a tree is your restless thoughts, or your thoughts. The energy in everything is your own energy flowing through everything, and in such ways you can expand your consciousness. To be totally fixed on whatever you're doing is practicing a level at least of that concentration we talked about in dharana, to be totally at one with what you're doing. Don't separate yourself from it. The more you can do that, the more even in your outer life you're practicing dhyana. To be able to sit perfectly still and to be centered in yourself. This is a very important part of being able to succeed. I've seen that people who are really successful in life are those people who are centered in themselves, who can't be shaken. They're not fidgety and restless. Fidgety and restless people never become greatly successful. The more centered you are, the more you have your energy under your control, the more you can bring your thoughts to a focus within yourself and become a cause rather than an effect in the world, be able to move outward from your center rather than just be knocked by every current that comes, the more you will find that you will be able to achieve well whatever you're trying to do. So it's really a universal teaching. It's not a teaching for non-involvement in the world, it's a teaching for total involvement in reality. Well, that's as much time as we have today. Thank you all.